I intuitively guessed that my mistake was the multiple index pages. I thought about everything that I had done, and that was the major changes I had done in the last few weeks was I had created multiple index pages. I immediately changed the names of those pages and created new links to those pages so that I no longer had index A, index B, index C, and index D. I just had the index. But then I discussed the issue with my search engine optimization people, and they told me that it didn't matter if they were the exact same encoding but with a different name, maybe slight difference because it showed a different slideshow, that to Google it was still a huge sin because it was my home, especially because it was my home page. But that Google does not like to see the exact, roughly the same encoding multiple times on same pages of websites. So don't do that. First, don't ever create a multiple homepage. You have one homepage. And two, don't have, even if you call it something else, try to make each page unique. Google does have a, Google has some kind of crib sheets that they offer. If you go onto the Webmaster Tools, you can find it real quickly. And it says each page should be unique, so do so. Make each page on your website unique. I work several hours a day now on my website making each page unique. The title should be descriptive of your exact unique page, so it should be a unique title. It's your description, the meta description should be unique because it's a unique page also. You shouldn't have, like everybody used to do. 2 years ago, everybody did this. Everybody had all kinds of description phrases in their description. Best wedding photographer in St. Louis. St. Louis wedding photography. St. Louis wedding photographer. St. Louis wedding photographer. St. Louis, this and that. All kinds of versions of the same thing. That was the thing to do 2 years ago. Google just hates that. Especially if you have the same thing on multiple pages. So figure out what the best term is. What's going to make the most sense if a person finds one description of your website and use that. Google is looking more and more at websites as if it's an individual looking at a website and you're trying to communicate something to somebody in a straightforward manner. That is their general rules. That's what they try to communicate in this crib sheet that I noted in the Webmaster Tools, and it makes sense. But most people won't create the original sin, the huge Google no that I did. So I not only retitled the pages, but redesigned the pages so that the new slideshows that I was trying to promote showed on unique pages. I no longer have multiple versions of my website, even in the encoding. We also discovered that even 2 weeks later, Google was on page like 24 of a search promoting a website that no longer existed. A homepage called Index D, for instance, was showing. We disallowed those multiple. There's a way of communicating with Google. I'm not sure what it's called, but my search engine people do. And you can ask Google to disallow on their searches certain exact websites. And we disallowed Index A, Index B, Index C, and Index D. And that helped clarify things. Within 2 days, that search was no longer existed, so that did help a lot, I thought. Then you can resubmit. Once you've made all these changes and you've made your website unique, you can resubmit your website to Google, and we did that. First you have to have it verified, and I'm not sure what the verification process is. That's again to me for an expert to do, and so the search engine people verified the website and resubmitted it to Google. Then you pray. At that point, I don't know if there's a whole lot you can do. I asked the people at the search engine company to hold my hand every once in a while, but they say there isn't anything they can do beyond waiting, and that they have no control over Google. It's completely, nobody has control of Google. Nobody completely understands Google. You have to hope that their computerized algorithms and their spiders discover what you're trying to do and discover that they're happy with it. I call it feeding the spiders. The whole process is feeding the spiders, and that's all you can do to some degree. So you can pray, and this is where I am now. Where I am now is that I'm starting to show just this Monday. I discovered this October 1st. For the first 2 weeks through October, Basically, you couldn't find me and nobody found me. It took 3 weeks from the time I discovered this for me to find that anybody doing any Google searches for St. Louis wedding photographers was finding me. And October 21st and 22nd, I finally started to show on Google searches again. As when you Googled St. Louis best wedding photographers in St. Louis, Missouri, I'm on the first page again. And all of a sudden this Monday, I got like 22, I think it was 22 hits from Google and people doing searches. I've gotten 60 in the last total, 62 or so in the last 3 days. That's encouraging. That's the word that they use in the search engine people. That's the words they use. They think it's rather quick. That recovery for being totally blacklisted, for being banned from Google, to be showing again at all in 3 weeks is good. They say that's very encouraging progress. It takes weeks to get back on Google. You don't just get back on Google. You have to start over. If you're blacklisted, you have to start over. And that I'm on the first page of any reasonable search in St. Louis is quite remarkable in only 3 weeks. They think that that's pretty good. I don't know what else to say. Try to understand Google. Don't let this happen to you. It's not fun. There are things you can do. Try to figure out what you did wrong. Review Google's guidelines. Supposedly, Google sent out that letter. Supposedly, if you're registered on Webmaster Tools, Google Analytics and things, and you register yourself with Webmaster Tools, they should notify you if they find a critical error in your web encoding. And that's what they say. They certainly didn't do that with me. I wish they had. In the future, maybe they will. My guess is they sent out that letter because they kicked a number of people off the website. A lot of people get kicked off the website by Google, and it might be a good thing. They're cleaning it up. Maybe it's a good thing that they're doing, but don't let it happen to you. Play by the rules. They seem to be reasonable. I'm not holding any resentment toward Google, really. I wish they had notified me. I think their new policy is great if they really do that. But what they're trying to do makes sense. And my website hopefully will get relisted back in the top handful of wedding photography websites in St. Louis. And that's where you want to be. It makes all the difference in the world. Thank you. Good luck. Bye.